There's a helicopter on the quad for Aviation Week. Also coming up on this edition of ATV News.
Obviously there's a problem here. There's a problem everywhere.
A Skyview High School coach was arrested, accused of sending sexual texts to who he thought was a 13-year-old girl. We'll tell you what police are saying you should do to stay safe.
This semester is mainly geared towards bringing the paper to fruition and bringing it to real life.
Heat, steering wheels, and robots. How engineering students are using all of these to let everyone make art.
We hope that everyone feels like that they can come and say hello to us.
We'll tell you what is to come of the barbershop space.
Women's softball swept the competition this week. I'll let you know which Aggie athletes did the same.
Will these flowers get their April showers, or will they nap? In less than an hour, I'll tell you in a wrap.
All that and more, this is ATV News.
In a spirit of prayerful gratitude, I'm pleased to announce our plans to build a new temple in each of the following locations.
President Nelson announced plans for 17 new temples at the 192nd Semi-Annual General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Welcome to this edition of ATV News. I'm KAYNOA Johnson.
And I'm Jake Ellis. One of the new temples will be about an hour and a half away in
Montpelier, Idaho.
The church will build 7 more temples in the United States in Modesto, California, Missoula, Montana, Wichita, Kansas, Austin, Texas, Knoxville, Tennessee, Cleveland, Ohio, and Tampa, Florida. 2 temples are planned in Mexico, one in San Luis Potosí and another in Mexico City, Benemérito. In South America, the church announced Cusco, Peru, Maceió, Brazil, and Santos, Brazil. The church has planned 2 temples for Europe, one in Barcelona, Spain, and another in Birmingham in the United Kingdom. Africa will get a temple in Brazzaville in the Republic of the Congo, and in New Zealand, the church plans to build in Wellington.
These 17 temples will bless countless lives on both sides of the veil.
Nelson has now announced the construction of 100 temples during his time as president of the church. Here in Cache Valley, the Smithfield Temple the church announced last year will break ground on June 18th.
One rancher needs to find a new home for his calves after a fire in Richmond. A fire burned these barns on Saturday afternoon. They housed calves and hay. Crew put out the fire that day, but it reignited on Sunday and Monday. The structure is now completely destroyed.
2 teenagers are dead and 3 are injured after a car crash in Box Elder County. Box Elder County Sheriff's Office says a Toyota 4Runner was northbound on East Promontory Road. The vehicle drifted on the east shoulder of the road, then crossed over to the right and then overcorrected. It rolled twice, landed on the driver's side. The Sheriff's Office says none of the teenagers were wearing seatbelts.
Brigham, Perry, and Willard police are relieved that no one was hurt after a pursuit that went all over Box Elder County.
He was going to cut my base, kill me, cut my base off, and wear it around town.
Todd Amerden says he was approached and threatened by Brigham resident Brandon Chappell. Police say Chappell reversed into a police car and damaged 3 more as he led police on a pursuit through Brigham City, Manaway, Perry, Willard, and onto I-15 southbound. Police say Utah Highway Patrol closed I-15 to help with the pursuit, and they caught Chappell near Willard Bay. Brigham City's police chief says things could have gone a lot worse.
Luckily, we were able to end the pursuit without any injuries to officers, the suspect, or even innocent bystanders, because pursuits are dangerous and just in their nature they're very dangerous, as you know.
Police say they took Chappell to the hospital shortly after they put him into custody because he broke a police vehicle's window with his head. They say Chappell will be charged for aggravated assault against an officer and fleeing from police.
A teenage boy is still recovering after a motorcycle crash in Tremonton. Utah Highway Patrol says a Yamaha off-road motorcycle was traveling northbound on State Road 13 on 8000 North. They say the driver of an SUV traveling south made a left turn to go east, and the motorcycle did not have lights, so the driver of the SUV did not see the motorcycle. Utah Highway Patrol says the rider was not wearing a helmet.
Skyview High School's boys soccer coach was arrested for sending sexual texts to an undercover police officer posing as a 13-year-old girl. Police say the conversation started back in December in a chat room where child sex predators often hang out. Police say Jorge Alejandro Cruz sent sexual images and tried to meet with the person he was chatting with. Police encourage students to come forward with any suspicious interactions they may have.
If there are, students at Skyview or other kids in the community that have had contact with this individual, especially if they've made them feel comfortable or if there's been some sort of sexual contact, we would definitely like to hear about that.
Cruz is charged on 3 counts of enticing a minor and 4 counts of dealing in materials harmful to a minor.
Now let's take a look at COVID numbers across the state. There have been just under 928,900 cases, a little over 34,000 hospitalizations, and about 4,700 deaths. In the Bear River Health District, there have been nearly 51,500 reported cases, a little over 2,020 hospitalizations, and about 250 deaths. USC reports cases a little differently. There are 17 cases. 8 new cases have been reported, and there have been roughly 6,770 total cases reported during the spring semester.
Yesterday we had some wind, but today we are seeing the sun. JC Codwell joins us live from the quad to show us how students are soaking up the sun.
Yes, thanks, Kai. I am sitting just outside the Ag Science building right next to the quad where I am soaking up as much sun as I can, especially after those gloomy clouds that we saw yesterday. It's actually so bright I might even need my sunglasses. But that's not the only time I will be wearing these. Stay tuned for weather where I will show you why, and I'll tell you it's not just because of the sun. The current temperature is 44 degrees. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, JC.
Drawing with crayons, something you probably perfected in kindergarten. But what about people who can't use their hands or even stand? Emma Fate shows us how Utah State engineering students are helping everyone make art.
Stapling wood panels together, Chris McLaughlin
Right there.
is building a shelf for his team's mechanical engineering senior project. Across the metal factory, another team is working on theirs. All this work is for Jump the Moon.
We're a nonprofit art studio for people with disabilities. However, we use the term diverse abilities or differently abled.
Those terms describe the students in the Aggies Elevated program who are creating vision boards at this workshop. Jump the Moon isn't a part of the university, but Bingham says while here, he's taking advantage of USU's resources.
We landed up here at Utah State, and almost immediately the light bulb went on. It's like, wow, I'm surrounded by talented people in so many different areas.
Talented people like engineering students.
I like this project because it sounds like the most creative project out of all of the presented projects for us.
STENK's project is an art station you can steer with a wheel, and McLaughlin's an art station that melts crayons to look more like paint. Both are designed for people with limited use of their hands.
The idea is to have something that when the kids see it, the excitement bubbles out of them and they just want to touch it and play with it.
Now both teams right now are really just putting together parts like the ones you see in front of me. Once they're done, Michael wants to turn them into works of art, like Chris's project, that he wants to turn into a real live looking robot.
That's part of the fun, is to work with those engineering students and use what we're good at in connection to what they're good at.
While these projects benefit the engineers,
It's giving us a lot of experience.
McLaughlin says it's all for Michael.
Thanks for being here.
And his artists.
What I really hope is that Michael and Jump the Moon become well known, that this allows them to have greater mobility to get their name out there. That's really what I care about.
Emma Fates, ATV News.
Both of the Jump the Moon senior design projects will be on display at the Taggart Student Center on May 4th.
We showed you a few weeks ago that the barbershop inside the Taggart Student Center will be changing. USU announced the Student Events Center will go to the place of the barbershop.
We hope that everyone feels like that they can come and say hello to us, that it's a place that they can feel welcome and feel that they can come ask questions and get more information about what's happening on campus.
Utah State Student Association says they hope to accomplish that the move will allow for a more inclusive environment with more involvement and visibility for students on campus. And coming up,
there's different countries, different languages, different races. It's just everything.
These kids are from all over the world and speak altogether over 7 languages. We'll show you what language they've learned to communicate in.
If Coke gets it, all the Mountain Dew people are mad. Pepsi get it, all the Diet Coke people are mad.
You can find any drink you want at a nearby grocery store, but not on campus. We'll show you why USU is limiting your options.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww. You should pick that up.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
For you.
They want to help, but don't know how. Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Did you catch the helicopter on the quad today? It made it hard to ignore Aviation Week. The chief flight instructor says they had landed the helicopter on the quad to let people know about the program. He says this is a great way to get involved in the community and for people to get inside the helicopter and check out what they do.
A lot of people don't know that we even have helicopters here at USU. So being able to land here on the quad, and have people ask questions and get curious, that's awesome.
Schenk says if you missed the helicopter today, they will have flight simulators in the aviation building tomorrow and have an Easter egg drop in North Logan on Saturday.
Now here we're gonna see some more shots of the helicopter. This one was actually taken by someone walking by on their phone. I'm JC Caldwell. Welcome to ATV Weather. Now today was nice enough for a helicopter on the quad, but let's find out if it will stay that way. But first, I did promise a wrap, and because it's finally officially spring, I think it's time to spring some beats. Hit it. Now let's take a look at the radar on the screen. We're seeing lots of green. Look, Marthy's looking mean. But these highs, winds, and showers are thinking about a rest. They've got tornadoes, wind warnings, flash floods, and more. Indiana, the worst, with heavy floods and warnings. Wouldn't be outside for those really scary mornings. But let's bring it home and look at what we feel. This windy weather in Utah was getting pretty real. The radar shows we have clear skies, so hooray. Our hope for summer may not be delayed. We don't see any rain, we don't see any snow, so it may be time to let go of those warm clothes. From the storms moving east, we'll still get a breeze, but in April, we're used to it, so we accept with ease. Now let's look even closer at the local sun exposure and hope to see the cold as the past at last. And though today was sunny, the weather can be funny. Tomorrow brings more winds, for us that's just unlucky, with a high of 43 and a low of 26. Friday's looking like the day we all would pick, so get outside with a high of 57, because Sunday could bring back Utah snow obsession. Overall, it's a little inconsistent. At least we see some warmth in existence. You're all caught up on weather, so I can take a rest. Back to you guys at the desk.
That was sick, MCJC. Now in other news, coming to a new place as a refugee may face a new culture, new language, and a new community. And some say it's not the easiest transition. Sarah Murphy shows us how one Cache Valley team comes together to help in an energetic way.
Go! Woohoo! Let's go, Athletics United!
A running start and a winded finish.
Go, Maggie! Finish strong!
Like most kids' sporting events, this track meet is filled with competition.
242, Maggie! Seriously? That's a fast 800.
Laughs and some tears.
Hop in right behind Noe. Ready? You got it, Sal. Go, 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 go! Good job, Elliot, you've got it!
With warm-ups, running, and hurdles.
Nice route.
Track and field is a sport done all over the world. But for this team, people from all over the world do it here.
My main country was Eritrea, and then we went to Ethiopia, and then we lived there for 1 year, and then we came to Logan, and I was 10 years old, and then that's when I first started coming to Athletics United.
Under 10! Over here!
The Athletics United team has kids of all ages.
10 or over, go to Coach Terhas.
Coaches say many of them are refugees.
A few of the kids that I've talked to, they don't know a lot of people here, mostly the communities that they've come here with, and it's a lot different from where they've moved from.
When I first joined, it was just for fun. I didn't speak English, and it's really like a good way to make new friends, learn English. It's really good.
No English. You might think that would make it hard to work together as a team, but INSTRUCTOR says when they line up on the starting line, it's the thing that brings them together.
There's different countries, different languages, different races. It's just everything. I thought it would be hard to make friends with someone that's from a different country because we have nothing in common. But it's really easy, especially when you're both running and coming to Athletics United. That's like something you have in common too.
They're getting to know kids that are different from themselves, have different backgrounds, and they're also getting quality coaching.
Don't go too fast. Remember, how do you run the 800? Nice and relaxed.
Competitors turn teammates.
He's jumping high. What? He's really high.
And once strangers turn friends.
Wait, let me say something good. Hi.
Athletes say when they cross the finish line,
That was fast!
they're not finished.
When I started like running, I did not think it was good, like I was gonna like end up doing it in high school. The more I started running, the faster I got, and then like the more like serious I wanted to take it, and hopefully I run for university.
Sarah Murphy,
Keep going!
ATV News.
Athletics United coaches say their track team will continue to meet each week. Once it gets warmer, they say they'll start their soccer season.
Did you know that a USU student set off bombs? There was a lecture open to the public about the rise and fall of Mark Hoffman. The recent success of the mini Netflix series Murder Among the Mormons has renewed the public interest in the 1980s forgery, bombing, and murders done by Mark Hoffman.
At first, the Hoffman documents appeared authentic, just as they had to other examiners in the past. But this time, 2 bombs, 3 murders, and 3 bombs, 3 murders, and numerous other potential crimes caused this set of examiners, George Throckman and William Flynn, to look more carefully at the documents than their predecessors had.
Replicas of the documents that Hoffman had forged were set on display to be seen. The books on the subject were there so you could learn more about the stories of the Mormon forgery murders.
You may prefer Coke or you may prefer Pepsi. Either way, J.C. Caldwell shows us why you'll only find one of those on campus.
Hundreds of students fill their cups full with Pepsi products every day, and it's all because of the $3.5 million contract the university has had with Pepsi for the last 9 years. Other than providing the product itself, Pepsi also funds the Aggie Smart Start Scholarship.
If you think about it, it's a really good plan because Pepsi is putting money towards a scholarship for students that are going to drink Pepsi. And so it's kind of a win-win situation.
Directors of the scholarship say this is a huge benefit for students.
We're actually moving away from the scholarship for freshmen and moving more towards putting that money into the experiences and the leadership and service opportunities that we give them.
You can fill up a cup of Pepsi at any dining location on campus, and it's been that way since 2013 when the university switched from Coke. But selling Pepsi isn't the only thing USU has to do to hold up their end of the deal.
So there's not supposed to be any Coke, any competing beverage, I should say, any non-Pepsi beverage. So that even goes into the Red Bulls of the world. Anywhere on this campus, it can't be sold, and it can't even be given away by the university.
USU also advertises Pepsi with signs, decor, and posters. But some students say their taste buds don't agree with the contract.
Not only is there giant difference in taste, quality, but also comes down to just, preference obviously, but Coke is obviously superior, and we ought to be a Coke school.
And according to my own Instagram poll, out of 153 college students who voted, 50% said they prefer Coke, 16% prefer Pepsi, and 35% don't care or don't drink soda. But Anderson says unfortunately he can't make both sides happy.
Bottom line, if Coke gets it, all the Mountain Dew people are mad. If Pepsi get it, all the Diet Coke people are mad.
J.C. Caldwell, ATV News.
USU's contract with Pepsi will end in June 2024, and Anderson says he will start drafting a new contract for bidding this summer.
Some teachers don't have enough books for their classrooms. That's what a local bookstore says, and they're trying to change that. Every first and third Friday of the month, JENSON Books makes donations to teachers.
I think it's just a good way to get the community in here to get rid of some of these books. Otherwise, they just go to a recycling center.
Books come from DI and other donation centers by the pallet. Teachers can sort through thousands of books to find materials for their classrooms before the leftovers are recycled. The next time teachers can collect free books will be April 15th. 2 USU professors are trying to create a database to help connect you with the past. Helmets, patches, and uniforms are a couple of war-related objects you can take to the Bringing War Home Roadshow. Professors are asking everyone to contribute to the project.
We want to hear those stories. We want to see those objects. We want to learn from you what those experiences were like for your family.
These are the kind of pictures organizers are trying to replicate. They want to photograph your objects and record information about them for a new database. They've planned 8 road shows this year. For a list of locations and times, you can find a link on our Facebook page. And coming up,
I'm with the cow.
we'll show you how petting a cow or holding a goat could change your kid's future.
People need to understand that it's okay to talk. It's okay to talk to people.
We'll tell you how dodgeball can connect you to your community.
2 women's sports are making USU history. Annika Johns will tell you which ones in sports.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
Live with a human for a while and you get to know a few things. Like I know she does strange tricks for no treats. But the one thing I will never for the life of me know is how she gets so tiny and inside that box. Natalie, how do you get so tiny?
Welcome to ATV Sports. I'm Annika Johns. Now, I don't have a rap for you like JC did with weather, and to be honest, that rap needs to go down in the history books. But our Aggie athletes did have a fair share of their own history-making moments this week. Taking on the Colorado State Rams, women's softball started the bottom of the first inning with Gabriela Jimenez scoring a home run, letting herself and Maisie McFarland across home base, giving the Aggies a 2-point lead. The Rams had their fair share of hits and made it onto the bases. Here is number 2, Maya Matsubara, celebrating a double, sliding onto second base and breaking out some moves. However, the Rams couldn't get past freshman Mia Reynolds, who pitched all 7 innings of the game, making this her second complete game shutout of the season. The Aggies took home the win with a score of 2-0. But the Aggies weren't finished with the Rams just yet and wouldn't be for 2 more games. At the bottom of the third, freshman Claudia Medina hit her first career home run, sending the ball down the left field line and bringing the score to 1-0. Up to bat, number 15, Maisie McFarland scored an RBI single, sending number 12, Libby Hawker across home base. And just like the first game against the Rams, the Aggie pitcher pitched a complete game shutout. Senior pitcher Capri Toon prevented the Rams from scoring, and the Aggies finished out the game with a score of 2-0. In their final game against Colorado State, at the bottom of the first inning, Gabriela Jimenez hit a 3-run blast, sending herself, Maisie McFarland, and Claudia Medina over home base. Following Jimenez, Libby Hawker hit her first career home run with a 2-run bomb that also scored senior right fielder Brie Larma. And you know what they say about all good things coming in threes. Brie Larma scored the final run of the game with a homer down the left field line, moving the final score to 6-1. After this 3-game sweep, their winning streak moved up to 9. This has been the longest win streak for the softball team since 2014, and this is the best start to conference play since 1981. USU Gymnastics competed in the NCAA Norman Regional this past week. Traveling to Norman, Oklahoma, the team went up against Minnesota, California, and Boise State. The Aggies started on beam with Rebecca Wells scoring a 9.9. Taking on floor, Bree Clark scored a 9.925. And Amari Evans scored a 9.9. Molly Arnold scored a 9.85 on vault. And wrapping up on bars, Brianna Brooks and Maya Fishwick both scored a 9.9. USU finished the meet in third with a final score of 196.825. USU is ranked number 25 nationally and has recorded their highest score in program history at a regional meet this year. Track and field had a weekend split at 3 different competitions. Kicking off the weekend at the UVU Collegiate Invitational, the Aggies took home 6 wins and had 16 top 3 finishers. The team made their way to California, where they competed in 2 other meets. Across the competitions, the Aggies had 4 first-place wins, and 11 Aggies were in the top 3 finishers. Opening the Mountain West Plays men's tennis beat UNLV with a score of 4-2. A few days later, they lost to Nevada with a score of 4-1. Women's tennis fell behind in their double plays against Boise State, losing 4-1. They also lost to Nevada with the same score of 4-1. And then joining 24 other teams, men's golf competed in the Wyoming Cowboy Classic. After the first round, the Aggies were in 19th place, but officials ended up suspending the second round for darkness. The second round took place yesterday, and the Aggies ended up finishing in 22nd place. Now you're all caught up on your Aggie sports. Back to you at the desk, Kai.
Thanks, Annika. And Jake, when was the last time you played dodgeball?
Probably had to be back in 6th grade. It's been a while.
It's been a long while. Well, dodgeball isn't just for 6th graders, and it isn't just for kids. I checked out how a local group is using dodgeball to support suicide awareness. Families, neighbors, and friends filled this gymnasium for dodgeball. The Community Family Coalition hosted the tournament.
It's a big turnout and people are having a lot of fun for the first time being out here.
But this is more than friendly competition. The coalition says entry fees go towards suicide awareness and prevention.
So this is our first event that we're really hosting. It's the dodgeball tournament, and the goal here is just to get community involvement and start raising some funds so that we can help more people.
Now, in a game of dodgeball, when you get hit with the ball, you really shouldn't take it that personally. It's just a game after all. But something Butters says that he does take very personally is suicide prevention.
I've had 3 friends commit suicide in the past year. And so working with USU and a lot of other organizations in the Valley and a lot of other nonprofits in the Valley, we're trying to help get awareness for the mental health.
The Utah Department of Health says suicide is the leading cause of death for Utahns 10 to 17 and 18 to 24. As of 2019, Utah had the 6th highest suicide rate by state, with 21 per 100,000 versus the national average of 14. That's 50% higher than the country's average. Butters and the Community Family Coalition say they want to change those statistics by hosting community events like this tournament, raising money and awareness.
It's not just one race or one culture or one whatever. It affects everybody. Age doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
For more information about the coalition and their future events, visit our Facebook page.
Look at these baby animals. Aww. Yvonne Bash shows us how baby animals could help your kids.
Goats are my absolute favorite.
These goat kids make these kids smile, and their parents like them too.
They help teach good responsibility, and they're just fun to have around.
Children say why they want to be around animals.
Animals are just adorable, and sometimes they can help you feel better.
Demos from volunteers in period dress.
This wool comes apart very, very easily.
Show how animals helped people in the 1800s. This yarn spinner shows how sheep help make clothing.
Animals were really what they needed to make it day in and day out.
Some parents say their children haven't had the chance to learn about animals up close. Volunteers say kids can
come out here and be educated so they know that milk doesn't come from a grocery store.
At Baby Animal Days, you could feed the calves. Volunteers say calves usually get udder fed, but mama cows weren't around because
when they're little, they're not so scary, huh?
They didn't want overprotective mother cows around. They do have other, safer adult animals here.
This is Charlie. He is an adult mini lop, even though it's Baby Animal Days, but I was told that some of the babies here could be his.
It's a real cool experience because some of these kids have never seen bunnies.
I've always wanted to see a bunny. My favorite animal.
Parker says working with animals can open doors to 4-H, FFA, and veterinarian science.
There's such a broad spectrum that, like, the sky is the limit.
Yvonne Bass, ATV News.
You can see the baby animals in person Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of ATV News.
You can find this edition and previous editions on our Facebook page.
We'll leave you with some more shots of the Baby Animal Days.
Have a great week, Cache Valley.